With the inline installation system, the panels and base are centered on the posts. The panels fit between the posts, and the panel wiring tensions around the posts at each end of each panel. Only one rail is used at the top, and this is covered by the roll. This rail serves to oppose the tension in the wiring in the panels and also anchors the roll top. An easy way to fit the rails to the posts is to use saddle brackets. These are fixed with the bottom edge of the bracket 75 mm down from the top of the panels and in line with the marks on the posts. They are temporarily fixed to the posts with one screw prior to fitting the rail. The rails are fitted in full length to the outside face of the post with the bottom edge 75 mm or 3 inches down from the top. A suitable size rail section is 25 by 38 mm rectangular galvanized steel in 1.6 or 1.2 mm wall thickness, which is commonly available in 7.5 metre rail lengths. Two screws and rail joiners are used to connect the rails together. On final fixing, a top tech screw and centre tech screw are fitted. The centre screw is designed to prevent the posts and saddle from sliding along the rail when the panel wires are tensioned around the posts at each end. On some corners, angle brackets may need to be used rather than the saddles. With the inline installation system, panels are sized to suit the post spacings and can be from 1800 mm wide up to around 3 meters in width. A commonly used size is the 2200 mm wide panel, which weighs around 80 kilograms. Two people are needed to install these panels, and an easy handling method is to use two rails stretcher fashion to carry. A steel saddle can be used to temporarily locate the panels to the top rail until the wires are secured. On the 2200 wide panels, the wires are left longer at the ends of the panel to allow them to be fixed and tensioned around posts at each end. It's easy to break a wire when tensioning, twisting. The correct way to do this is to make sure that both wires are twisting around each other at the same time and not one wire twisting around the other one. And the way to do this is to keep your plier nose at right angles to the pair of wires you're twisting. So you pull and twist, pull and twist. If you watch very closely the point where the wires are actually twisting together, you can see the wire start to craze if it reaches a point where it's going to break. So keep a close eye on that as you do twist until you get the feel for it. The wires should be tensioned at both ends of the panel using a piece of timber or steel pipe as a fulcrum and the pliers as a lever in the manner shown here. The wires are then trimmed off at the ends and bent over. Where the next panel meets the previous one, it's necessary to push the wires from one side of the fence through to the other and to tension the wires around that post from one side of the fence. Brush post rolls are required at every post on both sides of the fence with the inline installation system. Pre-made post rolls come in two types, one for wrapping the end posts and a narrower roll for wrapping the face posts on both sides of the fence. The rolls have wire fixing incorporated, and it is simply a matter of hooking the wires on one vertical side of the roll to corresponding horizontal panel wires and then tensioning off to the wires on the other side of the roll. The rolls are 1800 mm long and are trimmed top and bottom after fixing and prior to fitting the roll top. Post rolls can also be made from loose bundled brush and panel pieces using 2 mm diameter lacing wire. contact us for a DVD to see how this can be done. Finally, the post rolls are cleaned up, the top and bottoms are cut, the wiring is bent in and trimmed off, and the fluff is removed by rubbing with a glove. The roll shape can be adjusted by tapping with pliers and pulling on the wire loops to get a better shape. Pre-made brush roll tops are supplied stacked on top of panel shipments in convenient lengths. They have fixing wires incorporated and no additional materials are needed to install. Firstly, the roll is placed on top of the fence and the wires unfolded, ready for fixing. The roll covers over the top rail and secures down to it. Although the pre-made rolls can be installed by one person, it is easiest with two, one on either side of the fence. Firstly, the unfolded roll wires are inserted through the fence and under the top rail from the rail side, using a screwdriver to create a hole. Then the inserted wires are pulled through by the installer on the opposite side and tied off at the top. The roll wire is drawn through the fence, releasing all the small sacrificial tie loops that hold it together. It is then tied at the top with the corresponding wire from the other side. A simple crossover bend at the 180 degrees rather than twisting is the best method to tension. This can be retightened or loosened to adjust the roll size and shape at the end. The wire ends are then finally trimmed off to approximately 1 inch or 30 millimeters in length. The wiring in the pre-made roll tops is left somewhat loose in manufacture, with tensioning taking place when the roll is fitted. This allows blending of the join between two roll top sections prior to tensioning and fixing. The wires are tied off near the centre of the roll top, leaving the wires near the join undone. After blending, the wires near the join are then secured. During tensioning and tying off of roll wires, the roll shape may be upset and pulled to one side. The shape can be adjusted to a uniform cylindrical shape and cover of exposed rails by tapping around the brush and wires with a pair of fencing pliers. Also, the sacrificial wires that hold the roll together in manufacture and are released when fixing the roll top may need to be bent over and hidden in the roll where they protrude. One person can fit a pre-made roll by working firstly on the rail side and placing all the sections on top and shaping the roll tops to a curve to hold them in place temporarily, and then inserting the wires through the fence and finally securing from the other side.